we hope to do some films around a colonialist experience, which I think is topical because interestingly, colonialism isn't taught in English schools. So we have a kind of cockeyed view of the past. So it's almost like it's swept under the carpet in British psyche. We don't talk about colonialism or what happened in the past in schools or education. So we have to learn this as adults. So I think that's so important to the cinema representations of Indian filmmakers, for example. We're showing some of the great Indian films that will reference that colonial journey, which I think is about the struggles of India, which helps to understand, the good relationship we have now is actually both fraught from the past, but also there were some, good points and some very bad points, obviously. And it's about understanding that deep, and that creates a deeper understanding that, we are not here by chance in the UK, for example. I think a lot of the 1950s films are being restored now, which I think is quite fascinating. And obviously, there's a number of anniversaries coming up next year for some great filmmakers who we're discussing with at the moment. So obviously, we've got a competitive environment, so we can't give it away just yet. But we're talking to some of the great Indian filmmakers who are having their anniversaries next year, and also we'll be obviously reflecting on filmmakers like Shyam Benegal, for example, who passed, and we want to make sure that his memory and legacy lives on. So we're for sure aiming to do one of Shyam's films, hopefully, as one of the films, so that we don't forget, that it's very easy to wait 10 years for a restoration, but it's important to show the films and talk about the work.
If you have to describe the festival, I mean, the upcoming edition, how would you describe that in 2 or 3 words? How would you describe it will turn out to be, or one can expect it to be like?
Yeah, I think we are a pioneering festival. We're not going to be showing you the kind of typical family film or the kind of film. I think we're a film festival that aims to make a difference and aims to be pioneering and proudly show diverse images of India, for example, and in all its richness and diversity, and sometimes challenges that are happening in the country, but also showing stuff, that we are showing, the richness and diversity of India, linguistically and culturally. And so it creates understandings that bridges different societies, and the fact is that like nearly 50% of our audience are non-Indians, shows that people want to come and see our festival because they want to learn about India, and India is an emerging world economy, obviously, and so if you want to have realistic views of India, then you can come and see them at our festival. That's the reality of it, and that's what the attraction is. And we also show very high quality films. We're very carefully curated and show films that are, beautiful cinemas, for example. So even though people say, oh, well, we'll watch it on Netflix, you aren't going to watch these films on Netflix. They're not going to be shown on Netflix. They won't be marketed in that. You won't have a live Q&A with the filmmaker on Netflix. So things so much as you might want to watch films at home on your platform. If you want to engage with cinema, you need to actually go out there and live that experience. And some of those conversations could change your life.